Hello and welcome to the Sunday Guardian show with Joyeeta Basu. I'm Joyeeta Basu, editor of the weekly newspaper published from New Delhi. As you know, we have been discussing politics and policy in this show. And today we are going to discuss the elections, the way it is happening, about how Prime Minister Modi is, campaigning. What are the prospects? For this, I have a special guest. We have Ms. Semu Bhatt, who is a hi Semu. She's a strategic advisor and author specializing in governance, geopolitics, and conflict. She has a comprehensive understanding of Narendra Modi's politics and policies and a consistent track record of accurately predicting his political decisions. Semu, that's you were saying in that. So the thing is, so Semu, how do you think the current elections are going? What's your assessment?
Joyeeta, first of all, thank you for having me. And um, for a couple of years now, I have been very confident that Narendra Modi is going to come back for third term. The only time that the opposition could have had an upper hand was right after the pandemic, during and right after the pandemic, when especially the second wave and uh, and the rollback of the farm laws. So that was the time when Narendra Modi was a little bit out of his element. But
Mm-hmm.
even at that point of time, if you see his popularity had not dipped significantly.
Hmm.
But opposition, as always, has been in disarray. They don't have a strategy to counter Narendra Modi. They think that just Modi hatao in itself is enough of a strategy, which is not working for them.
Mm-hmm.
So once they couldn't capitalize during that phase, it was very clear that Narendra Modi is going to come back. And then after Gujarat assembly elections, when Gujarat gave BJP a sweep, after that, both the good Jews, Amit Shah and Narendra Modi, have been in full form. Then there was no stopping them. So the only brief window that the opposition had, they couldn't capitalize on it. And last year around May 2023, I wrote an article where I predicted the highest ever tally for BJP. Now, highest ever could be like, I'm a big picture analyst, so I cannot tell that, whether they'll get 350 or 370, but I know they are going to get more than 303. At one point after Ram Janmabhoomi, Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha, it did look like they could get very close to their target of 400. But then, some bad candidate choices and little bit of complacency. Some of those factors did creep in. As I say that, the only party that can dent BJP is BJP, and BJP did few things that brought their tally down. I would say I could be proven wrong in the end, but I was more confident in February that they would get closer to their target, not 400, but like closer to it. Now I'm thinking more in terms of 320, 330, still very easily actually.
Semu, because you see, there is another narrative. Perhaps it is kind of an opposition narrative that is gaining ground about, that BJP may even be restricted to something around 260. I mean, this is because there is no way that it can only lose seats right now. It has kind of reached its saturation and it can only reach seats. And it is likely to fall short of majority and it will need its allies. I mean, they can barely scrape through. I mean, this is some kind of message doing the rounds. And the thing is that you see, this started primarily when after the first phase, and to an extent even after the second phase, when it was initially said that the voting turnout has been low. So, what is your view of that?
No, voting turnout would be low for a number of reasons. We don't know right now what was the reason. The very obvious reason is the heat wave. It was really very hot, in the first three phases. So people could have, not gone out to vote because of that. That was one very obvious factor.
What's
What
happening?
happens is that people forget that it is also possible that the pro-incumbency voters are going out to vote and the anti-BJP vote have resigned to the fate that BJP is going to come back to power and not coming out to vote. So that is also a possibility, and that factor could also have played a role in lower voter turnout. Right now, we don't know, but under no circumstances BJP is going to get 260 less than 270. I don't even see it going below 303, to be honest, because if you see
Mm-hmm.
who's going to dent BJP's strength. I mean, if you see the opposition alliance, they started off on a strong foot with Nitish Kumar going around and putting all the allies together, clubbing them and all. But I mean, he was kind of, so to speak, founder of that alliance, and BJP brought him back. I mean, you couldn't even keep your founder ally in the alliance. And then you have, all sorts of contradiction within the alliance, wherein CPIM and Congress are allied at Delhi level, but they are fighting against each other in Kerala. And, in West Bengal, they left and Congress is together. Then Mamata Banerjee was in. Then she said, "No, I'm not with you." Now she's saying, "I'll support you from outside. I won't be part of an Indian government if it ever comes to power." So this kind of, they couldn't even agree very smoothly on seat sharing also. Like Akhilesh Yadav had to literally threaten Rahul Gandhi that I won't be part of your yatra if you're not agreeing to seat sharing beforehand. So, so they are not very well gelled, so to speak. And they don't have a vision. I mean, they started out offering freebies. Like every time Rahul Gandhi speaks, he offers one more freebie. That's kind of how it is going. So like whatever khatakat he keeps on doing, from like I'll give you this many rupees a month, a year, to now this many rupees a month. Every time he speaks, he's offering one more thing just to win votes. But that's not how it is done. The only common agenda the opposition has is Modi Hatao. Now you can probably win on that agenda if the person you want to hatao is not popular. But you're talking about a leader who's highly popular. His popularity has not dipped at all. So how, and you don't have a leader who matches him in terms of charisma, in terms of vision, in terms of track record. So how are people going to buy your hatao agenda? So, and for India Alliance to succeed, Congress is the biggest component of it. And in direct battle with BJP, Congress has not been winning significantly last two elections. Like, for example, in 2019, it got some 15, 16 odd seats from 190 to 100 that they, battled it out in the direct face of the BJP. In 2014, this number was around 25 or so. So actually, in face off with BJP, the number has decreased from 2014 to 2019. And in these are the states which are in either western northern states. And Congress has been found, wanting when it came to distancing itself, or even criticizing DMK's, utterances against Sanatan Dharma, eradication of Sanatan Dharma. So how do you be an ally with a party that talks about eradicating Hinduism, that talks, that mocks Gaumutra states, and even some of your young leaders are part of that kind of narrative, and then you hope to win seats in western and northern India? It's not going to happen. And unless
Right.
Congress wins big in this direct contest, India
Hmm.
Alliance doesn't stand a chance.
Hmm. Absolutely. You see, I think this talk also started. I mean, the spin that was given since the Prime Minister suddenly spoke of, that Mangal Sutra issue and all. So all that talk suddenly started. I mean, considering you have been, seeing the Prime Minister campaign for such a long time, what is your assessment? Why did the Prime Minister suddenly seem to talk about, all those things?
No, there's nothing suddenly about it. Narendra Modi as a campaigner is a very different person than Narendra Modi as a chief minister or prime minister. People who have observed him for long, they don't get surprised by these things. He picks up an issue, he talks about it, he, then forgets about that issue, he picks up new issues and talks about it. That has been his style. He picks up certain things and people think, oh, because now he's talking in communal terms, so now he's afraid that he's not going to win. No, that's not the case. He picks up issues depending on the audience he's addressing. He does not care what you are going to think about him, based on what he's saying to that particular audience. So, in Gujarat, for example, he had this thing of during election time, he would say Mia Musharraf. So he would emphasize on Mia.
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody would be like, oh, because now he's brought in Mia, he's scared, and he's scared that he's
Hmm.
losing. That's why he's like, using this kind of
Hmm.
terms to consolidate the Hindu voters. Partly true about consolidation, but it's not because he's scared. He uses whatever he has to win voters. It also does not mean that he's anti-Muslim. He just uses whatever weapons he has with him to basically get votes, and that's his campaigning style forever. And he's not lost, ever since like 2002. You started people started criticizing him and like focusing more on his governance and all since that year. And he's not lost ever since. Every election, people pick up this campaign catchwords and say, "Oh, he's saying this because now he's scared." But do you see him losing at any point of time? He's not lost it. I mean, he never lost an election. So, he would, for example, he did that Shravan thing and, Navratri thing, non-veg thing and all that. Now, some people say that, oh, because, he shouldn't have said this. It's not nice. Maybe it's not nice. Although he did say that he has nothing against non-veg in the same speech, but still people found it like, little distasteful. And but he's not going to care about that. He's never repeated that. He would move on to like something else, then the Mangal Sutra, then something else. So but what the problem here is that he gives a 40 minutes to 1 hour, 1.5 hour speech, and people pick like few words, put them out of context, and say he's
Yeah.
saying this, so he must be updated. So it's cherry picking like this is never going to work. I mean, it may work for like one news cycle that you criticize him, but it's not going to win you votes. It's not going to help you in like help your electoral prospects. So, but surprisingly, Congress has not learned a single lesson since 2002. They are still like sticking with the failed strategies when it comes to Narendra Modi.
And what is the failed strategy of the Congress? I mean, in exact terms, tell me.
Firstly, when you make it Narendra Modi versus all, Narendra Modi always wins. And they
Right.
have been doing this consistently. When you make it about Narendra Modi always wins. But you always make it about Narendra Modi. When you abuse Narendra Modi always wins. But you always abuse Narendra Modi. So Congress, even when Congress, consciously make this decision that we won't abuse Narendra Modi. Like for example, in Gujarat Assembly elections in 2022, they made a decision that party made that this decision that we will not target Narendra Modi. And yet Madhusudan Misri came and said some like bad word about Narendra Modi, and then Narendra Modi like in his own style he took it from there. So Congress just can't help but abuse Narendra Modi. That's their weakness. They just can't help it. So that there are things, and also if you see Narendra Modi, I mean, you may like him, not like him, it's a different story. But Narendra Modi is a person, he's a leader who has a vision for India. He is talking in terms of 2047. That's his short-term vision. You know, 2047 is a short-term vision. If you heard his Ram Mandir speech, he's talking in terms of 1,000 years. So, and for a
Yes.
civilization state like India, 40, 50 years is nothing. So he knows that, he understands that, and he's talking about building India for the next 1,000 years. That's his long-term vision. What is the vision of Congress party or any other opposition party? They are like, moving from election to election that without, even for election, they don't have a very, appealing vision that could attract fence sitters. So what Rahul Gandhi is doing, for example, if I am a disillusioned voter, for example, say I'm a BJP voter, I'm disillusioned with BJP for whatsoever reason. Probably I don't like the candidate that they have in my constituency. What would attract me to Congress or like any of the indie elements? I am not socio-economically backward. I am not someone who would be very happy if my leader would go abroad and talk trash about India. I am not someone who would be very happy if my leader would go abroad and ask for interference of foreign powers in internal matters of India. I won't be happy if my leader trashes armed forces or tries to foment civil strife in India. What is in it for me? There's nothing. So if I'm not a core Congress voter, there's nothing that appeals to me. Then uh, from Congress's side. So if you want to win, you have to expand your vote base. Congress is hardly trying to expand it. It is trying in a way that like caste divides and all that. But here you are fighting against a man who's been delivering on his promises to the poorest section of population for 10 years. Just by offering empty words and empty promises, you won't be able to win more votes.
So, Semu, I agree with that. But at the same time, you see, when Congress is talking about, I mean, from 1 lakh a year, I think Rahul Gandhi's last speech was 1 lakh a month for every woman or something like that. He has been promising. But it seems that even Mr. Nadda of BJP announced some kind of special scheme where women will be given 50,000 rupees a month. I mean, is there this need to for this competitive, I mean, freebies in this case? I mean, can't BJP, because I'm certain Mr. Modi he has been speaking against reveries. So what is your
Yeah.
view on this?
See, Narendra Modi, as I said, Narendra Modi on campaign trail is a different person altogether. So, if I can give you an example of 2019 elections, in January he was tweeting about empowering farmers and increasing their income and all of that. In the mini budget that came, like the election budget what we call it, he provided that 6,000 rupees transfer money to farmers. And in his election speeches, he was talking about loan waivers, which again was a repetition of what he had promised during the UP elections. But overall, if you see in the manifesto of BJP, everything related to farmers was about empowerment. So, you know, I mean, he is a politician at the end of it. He contests to win. Because he has a vision for India. He wants to realize that vision, and he can't realize that vision by sitting outside, like a park corridors.
Absolutely.
I mean, losing has never been an option for him since 2002, to be honest. So, he would sometimes uh, divert from his own committed vision of empowerment over entitlement to win elections or to win a certain vote bank, or if he feels that the opposition is like promising too much, and like if I don't intervene and promise something of my own, it's going to harm the political prospects of BJP. You know, they do come up with certain things like this. But if you see the overall, trajectory of Narendra Modi government in last 10 years, it has been focused on empowerment of people, empowerment of women, empowerment of socio-economically backward classes. So welfareism has been there. It's been a huge component. 80 crore people are getting free rations in the pandemic days. So all of this is there. But he is someone who wants to empower people, because unless you have huge chunk of society turn into economic contributors, there is no way he can, fulfill his vision of a developed India by 2047. So
Yeah.
he has been working towards that. At the same time, as I said, he wants to win elections. So he is going to, if he feels that some previous is going to help him, then he is not going to think that okay, maybe some of my supporters won't like it. They will turn up their noses saying that what is Modi doing? He's not supposed to do that. He's for empowerment. Why he's he himself speaks against refugees, and why he's being part of that refugee culture. He's not going to think all of that. So,
Yeah, but at
but
the same time, no, no, please
once he's
continue.
back in power, if you see once he's back in power, if you see all the steps he takes would be towards empowerment of people. It would be towards making people aspirational for a better lifestyle. So what his government has done is that the government has provided basic amenities to people. They have been working very hard to provide water, road, electricity, a roof on people's head, toilets, all of that. So once basic amenities are satisfied, education, facilities are there, skill development facilities are there, small loan facilities are easily available to people. People, once their basic needs are met with, people when they don't have to struggle for their survival on a daily basis, and then people see development around them. He is bringing about a mindset shift from poverty glorification to aspirational India. So
Right.
when when a poor person sees, when a Vande Bharat train, for example, passes through a village, that person, villagers may not be able to board that train at that point of time. They because it's not going to stop there, but they see that train on a daily basis, and they
Hmm.
aspire to be at one day travel in that train. So this kind of small mindset change is, bringing about making people aspirational, and I think that is one of the reasons why, this whole freebie thing and all might fail at one point, because people don't want politicians who want to keep them poor by giving them crumbs. They want
Hmm.
politicians and governments that give wings to their dreams. And
Yeah.
probably 5 years, 5 more years of Narendra Modi, and hopefully we would reach a point wherein most of the Indians would rather have a government which provides them with opportunities for growth rather than promises of freebies.
Yeah, so basically, what you are saying is that whatever is being offered right now, they're small, small things, because BJP has not really been making big promises about,
Yeah.
freebies. That we have been witnessing. The thing is that it is the small money, this and that. It is well within the limits of the government. It is comes inside welfareism and does not actually go into the region of freebies, because what Congress is promising, Rahul Gandhi, it's frankly ludicrous. So the thing is that you see, yeah, that is, I think, I think fundamental difference in. But I think even Congress was not like this earlier. If you look at it, we just carried a piece where it was said that, where Indira Gandhi was asked that why aren't you giving your people money? She was clear that we cannot afford it. First of all, it's just that same case of, you give a man a fish, he will eat it, but if you teach him to fish, he's set for life. I think it's the same thing that is happening over here. And but at the same time, Semu, when you talked about, you see, you initially thought it is going to be, and there was actually a momentum. But yes, candidate selection has been a problem in many constituencies. So why did this happen? What is your information? What is your analysis of it?
Well, you know, one one factor could be, the that some of the state leaders would have had their preferences. Some
Hmm.
Congress imports who would have come into party with a condition that they would switch only if they are given ticket. In some places where, especially in Gujarat, where I find it unpardonable that BJP couldn't fathom the supporters of others' mood in certain constituencies. It could be complacency as well, because they just had a mega sweep in Gujarat polls,
Hmm. Yes.
and they might have thought that whoever they filled is going to win, which was actually the case in 2014 and 2019. In fact, in my family, when people used to ask, like, when in professional setup, when someone would ask, I wouldn't use these words, but in my family and friends, I used to say in 2014 and 19 that even if my pet dog like contests from one of the Gujarat seats, she will win because in Modi's name. That was the
Hmm.
confidence
Hmm.
level, because that was the kind of support that Narendra Modi had in Gujarat. What has been
Hmm.
happening is that since he moved to Delhi, none of the chief ministers have been able to fill in his shoes. And
Hmm.
he has been using up his goodwill with the people of Gujarat to kind of, win state elections. So at some point in 2022, I mean, in fact, I had written it for Sunday Guardian that, when I said that BJP is going to get its highest ever tally. And
Hmm.
that time I mentioned that at some point, BJP state leadership would have to step up and take responsibility of
Yes.
winning the election. Because what happens is that, you people may love Narendra Modi and Gujaratis do love Narendra Modi. But
Hmm.
at some point, the resentment against the state leadership, the decisions of the state leadership, the decisions of the party about candidates selection could transfer against Narendra Modi because they have been ignoring all of this because of him for so long.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in this election, in fact, this is the first election. I mean, Gujarat might give BJP a hat trick, but this is the first time, and I am not very confident about it. Like 2014 and 19, I was completely confident that 26 is like a given in Gujarat. But
Hmm.
so
Hmm. Hmm.
anyway, coming back to the point of the mistakes that they have made. So when BJP starts making mistakes in Gujarat, that is when I see it as a major red flag that they are probably making mistakes everywhere because this is a state
Hmm.
that
Hmm. Hmm.
it has been there for so many years, so many decades. They
Hmm.
understand, like Amit Shah and Narendra Modi both understand this state so well. This is the state where people genuinely love Narendra Modi, and they have stood by Narendra Modi even when the entire world was against him. So when people over there start having some problem against BJP, that's when I feel that BJP should start introspecting and see what is what is upsetting their support base.
What's
Uh,
up? Yeah. Okay.
I think
Hmm.
at some point they will have to probably take a stock of how much they are gaining and how much they are losing by importing so many people from other parties. I mean,
Hmm.
you may get lucky with one Himanta Biswa Sarma, but as against that, how many other people you are importing who are not good and who are not liked by your supporters? So, and
Hmm.
who are not liked by your party members because they have dedicated their lives to the party, and if they are being sidelined to accommodate the imports, they are not going to be very happy about it. Even if they don't, BJP usually BJP members and BJP cadre are very disciplined people, but and discipline comes not from the fear of high command, unlike in
Hmm.
Congress. Because in
Right.
Congress, you dissent, you are thrown out. In BJP, that's not the case. But
Hmm.
they are just like because a lot of them have RSS background, so discipline comes naturally to them. Following the decision of party comes natural to them. But at some point, I think Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, other top leaders would have to sit and figure out, the pros and cons of giving too much importance to imports.
Yeah, I can understand that. But you think Gujarat will repeat whatever the results were in 2014 and 2019, and that's just because of the
I
Modi
am,
factor.
yeah, that is if and I'm not this time as I said, I'm hopeful. I'm not confident.
Okay, all right. And the thing is, you see, of course, on June 4th, we'll of course know. So, what do you think Modi 3.0's, the main features, the outstanding watershed moments of Modi 3.0 will be?
Well, I think Narendra Modi, in his last leg of his political career. Like because Modi 3 at the most he would contest 2029 and then hang his boots after probably breaking Jawaharlal Nehru's record. But this is basically he's entering the last leg of his political career. And I would say that Narendra Modi, you will see, uh, in T20 form.
Okay. So,
So
what can we expect?
you can expect, a lot of big decisions. Now, they have committed to some of it, like uniform civil code and all. A lot depends on how much they manage to kind of control the opposition that the protest and all that happens in country. Every time there's a big decision. And in past, we have seen that they have actually failed in communication as well as in containing the protest. So I mean,
Right.
I'm hoping that they have learned from their mistakes, especially the farm laws rollback. and would be prepared when it comes to the next moves. But I think Narendra Modi is like, if you see his interview also to one of the media channels, he did say that, a lot of regarding the lot of Western interference in Indian elections. He said that once June 4th, the results come in and people of India have answered to them, they are all going to like, shut up. And so the kind of language that he used, that, he's like, the kind of, it was kind of defiant tone that,
Hmm.
I'm not going to be like slowed down no matter what kind of pressures you try to put on me. This
Hmm.
has not been Narendra Modi's tone for a long time, since like, this was his tone when he was like in 2000, after 2002, and he was consistently targeted by everyone.
Hmm.
So, I think he would be, betting on front foot in his
Absolutely.
third term. I cannot tell what decisions he would take, but I can say that, he would make it bigger than Modi too. And Modi too, if you see, it was CA and
Right.
Article 370 and Ram Temple. So bigger than that has to be like
Oh my God,
UCC.
that
It's
will
like
be big.
common sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Semu. It was really nice talking to you. We are going to do it again sometime in the future. Let's see, maybe prior to June 4th or after June 4th. But it was absolutely a pleasure speaking with you. And until the
Thank
next
you,
time, and
Joyeeta.
yeah, and
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you for
viewers.
having
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And the thing is, thank you, viewers, for watching this. Until the next time, thank you.